All right, let's talk about last minute resistance, otherwise known as LMR in the dating community. Now, this is the moment right before you're about to have sex with a girl and she suddenly stops you from actually having sex with her. And this is not to be confused with ASD, anti-slut defense, because anti-slut defense will often happen before last minute resistance. And her anti-slut defense could have been triggered days, even weeks earlier, sometimes even months earlier, depending on how long it's taking you to sleep with this particular girl. But ASD always precedes last minute resistance, okay? ASD always precedes last minute resistance. So if you have not diffused her ASD, chances are you are guaranteed to get last minute resistance from the girl, and in most cases she's just not going to have sex with you. Okay, not if you have not diffused her ASD, because as long as her ASD is still there, you're going to get last minute resistance. Now here's the sucky part. The sucky part is, even if you have diffused her ASD, in some cases she still won't have sex with you. Okay, she still won't have sex with you. Sometimes even if you've done everything right, she'll still give you a little bit of that last minute resistance just to make you jump through a few more hoops and make you work for it a little bit harder before she actually does have sex with you. And what's even suckier is that most guys tend to screw up this entire thing, where their target gives them a little bit of last minute resistance, and their response to her last minute resistance is to try even harder to take off more of her clothes. Ever done that? Where the girl might have her shirt off, she gives you a little bit of last minute resistance, she puts her shirt back on, and your response to that is to do what most guys do, which is kind of hang back for a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden try to start taking off all of her clothes all over again. This is what most guys do. The girl gives them a little bit of last minute resistance, and they're like, okay. They hang back for a few minutes, they wait, and then they start like feeling on her again, they start touching her, and then they start trying to take her clothes off all over again. Then the girl gives them some last minute resistance, and then they hang back a little bit, let her chill out, and then they start feeling on her again and start trying to take her clothes off all over again. Okay, this is what most guys do. And understand, as soon as you do this, something clicks in the girl's head that she should not have sex with you. And guess what? She doesn't. Just ask yourself, how many times have you been in this exact situation that I just described, where the girl lets you take her shirt off, sometimes she'll even let you take her pants off. You know, you're sitting here thinking that you're gonna have sex with her, and then she gives you a little bit of last minute resistance, and she suddenly starts putting her shirt and all of her clothes back on, starts buttoning up her blouse, zipping up her pants, and your response to that is to just hang back, wait a little bit, let her chill out, let her calm down. Then you suddenly start like moving back in, touching her, grabbing her, you start making out with her, and then you start trying to take her clothes off all over again, thinking that she's just gonna let you go all the way, right? How many times did you do this and you actually ended up having sex with a girl, okay? Where you spent the entire night playing this game of cat and mouse where she lets you take off some of her clothes, only to a few minutes later to watch her put them right back on. How many times did you get the girl to actually have sex with you in this situation after playing this game of cat and mouse? I guarantee the answer is zero, okay? The answer is zero. Because the truth is, most girls that get you into that last minute resistance game of cat and mouse, where you're taking off her clothes and she's just putting them back on, and you take off her clothes and she puts them back on. Girls who got you stuck in that game of playing cat and mouse are not going to have sex with you. Period. She may let you think that you're going to have sex with her, but in reality, once she's got you jumping through her hoops like that, playing this game of cat and mouse with her, she is not going to have sex with you. Matter of fact, all you're doing by continuing to play this game of cat and mouse with her, all you're doing is you're proving to her that you do not have the value that she was looking for in order to have sex with her. Because really, what you're doing is you're breaking a fundamental law of pickup, which is what? Never jump through the girl's hoops, right? Never jump through the girl's hoops, because every time you jump through the girl's hoops, you are lowering your value in her eyes. You are lowering your value and you're seeming less and less attractive to her. This is why whenever my target is trying to get me to jump through her hoops, just because I've been doing this for so long, I recognize it immediately. I know immediately this girl's trying to get me to jump through her hoops. And she might not even know she's doing it. A lot of times they don't. They're just doing it subconsciously. But I recognize it right away. Like, boom, this girl's trying to get me to jump through her hoops. And right away, once I see that, what do? I flip it around on her. Okay, I flip it around on her. Like a lot of times, my target might ask me a simple question. Like, what do you do for work? Sounds harmless, right? Sounds harmless on the surface. She just wants to know what I do for work. And most chumps out there will automatically respond to her because they see it as an opportunity to brag about their job or how much money they make, but they'll automatically respond to her and be like, oh, I'm an accountant. Or, oh, I'm a manager for yada, 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 this big financial company. Or, hey, I do this, I have my own business. You know, they'll use it as an opportunity to brag about themselves. And the girl will be like, oh, that's nice. Cool. But what they don't realize is that they just lowered their value by jumping through her hoop. And by the way, when a girl asks you questions like that, especially in the initial approach, she's not even paying attention. Okay, she's not going to remember what you said. Okay, she's not going to remember any of it. But what she will remember is the fact that you jumped through her hoop. Okay, what she will remember is the fact that you jumped through her hoop and you lowered your value in her eyes. Okay, you lowered your value in her eyes. And again, most of the time, she isn't even aware that she's doing it. Sometimes she is, and sometimes she's doing it on purpose, but most of the time, these girls aren't even aware they're doing it. They're just programmed to do it. Either way, as soon as I recognize that she's trying to get me to jump through her hoop, I flip it around on her, and whatever question she's asking me, she wants me to answer, I never answer it directly. So you'll notice, in some of my infield approaches, if the girl asks me a question, I'm not like, oh yeah, I do this. Or she's like, you know, tell me about yourself. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I don't do any of that because I'm not going to jump through her hoop because I know what that does. It lowers my value. Okay, it lowers my value. Doesn't mean I'm not going to answer a question. I'm just going to sit there and just not answer. I mean, I am going to answer a question, but before I give her my answer, I'm going to make her work for it. I'm going to make her jump through my hoop first. Okay, like if the girl asks me, so what do you do for work? Rather than answering her question directly, I will make her work for it. I'll say something like, guess. And she'll say, I don't know. Do you work in an office? And I'll say, maybe. Keep guessing. Guess again. Come on, guess again. And she'll say, okay, do you work with your hands? And I'll say, depends who you ask. You know, I'll flirt with her a little bit. And then I'll say, keep guessing. This is fun. What do you think I do? And then she'll guess again. And I'll be like, no, you're wrong. Guess again. And she'll be like, you do this, you know. But do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see what I'm doing to her? Instead of answering her original question directly and jumping through her hoops, I've now got her answering my questions and jumping through my hoops. I'm controlling the frame. Do you see? And by doing that, guess what? She's becoming attracted to me. She's investing in our interaction together. We're building a connection together. She's becoming attracted to me because I'm making her work for it. I'm making her invest. I'm not doing what most chumps out there do and like, oh, I do this, and then they start bragging about their job and how much money they make. Okay, I don't know this girl. I'm not going to tell her all that. If she wants to find out, work for it. Okay? Nothing's for free in this world. Work for it. And I make her work for it. And I don't stop doing this throughout our entire relationship together, by the way. Okay? I don't stop turning the tables on her and making her jump through my hoops. I don't suddenly stop. Okay? I do this throughout our entire relationship together as long as I am dating her, which is an important point, by the way. From the moment I meet my target, all the way to the moment I'm having sex with her, I continue being that same badass alpha guy that she met originally. So I don't suddenly shift gears on her and start compromising with her like a wuss, like most guys. And then they wonder why their girlfriends and their wives end up cheating on them and looking elsewhere. So as professional pickup artists, we don't suddenly stop just because we've got the girl. Okay, we don't suddenly stop because we've got the girl in our life. And we don't suddenly stop because we're having sex with her and we feel like our job is over. So getting back to last minute resistance, her playing this game of cat and mouse with you where she lets you take off her clothes for a few minutes and she lets you touch her a bit, usually from the waist up, right? She won't let you touch her anywhere below that, but usually from the waist up, she'll let you touch her a little bit. And then after a few minutes, she suddenly starts pushing you away and she starts putting her clothes back on. And then you start falling into her trap where you start going back and forth with her all night where she lets you take off her clothes only to put them back on, lets you take off her clothes and puts them back on. You have to realize what she is doing in that moment. And sometimes it's hard, I know, because all you can think about is having sex with this girl. And you're frustrated, like, why won't she just let you have sex with her? But you have to realize why she's doing this. And she's doing this in order to gauge what you will do. So again, it goes back to the basic fundamentals of pickup. She's wanting to see your reaction to her reaction. So by her putting her clothes back on, she wants to see in that moment what your response will be to her shutting you out. She wants to see if you can draw state from within yourself without needing her. Okay? Can you draw state within yourself without needing her? Okay, and this, a lot of times in pickup we call this a takeaway. Okay, we call it a takeaway where the girl suddenly just shuts you out. You know, a girl who might have been making out with you, getting hot and heavy, all of a sudden she just shuts you out, treats you like you're just a stranger, because she wants to see if you could draw state from within. Where a lot of guys, they can't. So what do? Like try to grab on the girl again, right? They try like, what did I do? Is everything okay? You know, and they try to grab on the girl. That's not the answer. That's not what she's looking for. She wants to see if you could draw state from within. So what I generally do in that situation, if I'm in an approach and I was already making out with this girl and she shuts me out and starts like putting distance between us, I put even more distance between us. I let her know, like, hey, you know, you're cute, you're hot, I like you, but don't need you. Don't need you. So if you want to play this game, I can play it too. Right? Because I know if she's getting physical with me, she's hot and heavy, I know she wants me. All right? And I know, you know, just as a girl, that it's just another test that she's giving you, and it's just another hoop that she's trying to make you jump through, and she wants to see if you will jump through it. So understand, when it comes to last minute resistance and the girl has got you jumping through her hoops like a little bitch, so long as you're proving to her that you don't have the value that she expected from you, she is not going to have sex with you. Period. So what is the answer to this? How do we fix this? How do we get the girl to actually have sex with us that same night while she's giving us all of this last minute resistance? And the answer is